Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Ruby, this is Ruby Red, and today is another vlog. Today is the first day of the Squash That Series challenge. It's happening for the 2 weeks in the middle of March, and this is a readathon focused on completing some series. I'm gonna leave links down below to the channels of the two amazing hosts of this readathon, Kayla and Bailey, so you can subscribe to them and make sure that you don't miss the next time that they host this really fun readathon. This round, it's 2 weeks and it's a board game. Here's the board. The goal of this is to just move along this little trail by rolling a pair of dice, and I think there's something about collecting all the stars as you go, or like doubling back to get the stars, but you know what, I'm just gonna call it a win if I make it to the end of this trail by the end of the week. I mean the 2 weeks, like we'll just see. I'm not in the middle of very many series, so I might have to be doing some things to make this work, because some of these prompts I literally have nothing, but I might not land on them, so we're just gonna deal with that if and or when it happens. For now, the first roll I did in my March TBR video, and I landed on continued from a previous round, and so I decided to continue with the Hercule Poirot series, which I was reading a book from for the last round of this in the fall. So the next book in that series is The 3-Act Tragedy by Agatha Christie. This is a series that I started like a few years ago. It's also not really a series, it's just a collection of books that are all mysteries featuring the same detective, but I have been reading them in order. There are a lot of them, so I have a long way to go, but I do really enjoy them. They're light, fun, quick, easy, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading that today, hopefully finish it soon and be able to do my next roll, which I'm already nervous about. And I'll be taking you along for the ride. Hopefully things go well. That's really all I can say. Okay, ready for our second roll. Second book in a series. I have passed the halfway mark for the 3-Act Tragedy. I know I'm wearing the same sweatshirt I was wearing yesterday, but it's a new day. So I passed the halfway mark, and that's when I told myself I could do my next roll, just so that if I need to, like, I don't know, scramble to get something, I can do so. But I don't want to do that, but I also just have been a little bit nervous, so I wanted to like get it done. So I did the roll. Wait. So the 3-Act Tragedy, just like a quick update. Basically a person was poisoned in a mysterious and maybe questionable manner, and then sometime later kind of the same group of people who aren't necessarily people who would gather all together, like it was kind of a weird group, and that same weird group is reassembled later and somebody else is poisoned, and then our two main characters, Mr. Satterthwaite, the names in this book are horrible, and Sir Charles something, are kind of working to like kind of figure out what happened. Neither of them are detectives. They're just, they just know the two people who died, and so they want to be involved, I guess. I don't know. So it's their story, and it's not Poirot and his stupid sidekick Hastings, thank God. If you've read some of the Poirot mysteries, especially if you're doing what I'm doing and you just like are reading them in order, like you get so sick of Hastings after a couple books that it's such a relief to read one that he's not part of. So but you know what, he does bring a certain comedic element that is not necessarily present in this, although there is some comedy. But Poirot has just finally arrived on the scene. It's going very well, and I don't really feel like I can guess who did it, although I have some suspicions about like what and or why it might have been done. That being said, let's talk about my second roll. I got second book in a series, which is possible. However, it didn't move me very far along the board, and I did kind of want to try to finish this whole board in the 2 weeks. So what we have now is the knowledge that I have to pick a second book, and out of all the series that I'm reading, I think only 3 of them have I only read the first book. So I could read either the next book in the Live Ship Traders which I just finished the first book, and that would be Mad Ship, but I don't want to do that because it's really big. The second option is I could read the second book in the Modern Love trilogy, which is just like a companion romance series. They're not, you know, those series aren't like series, they're just companions, but whatever. I'm counting it. I read the first one, The Right Swipe. I think I listened to the audiobook of that, and I think I gave it 3 stars, so I didn't love it, but I like the concept of the like series enough to want to maybe try the others. I'm not like super into romance, but I dabble, okay? So I could read that, and I can get it from my library right now if I want to, or I think I will, in fact, take this final route, which is to read Shorefall, which is the second book in the Foundryside trilogy. I read Foundryside a few months ago, and I really liked it. And I have been pushing the sequel. I got a hold on the sequel, and I've been pushing it back specifically for this. So I finally actually borrowed it from my library. I have it on my Kindle right now. So I think that that's what I'm going to do, which I'm excited to read it. I think that it's a kind of an interesting fantasy world in that it's like, I guess it's actually probably steampunk, huh? Back to Agatha. All right, so I did finish Agatha Christie Tragedy in 3 Acts last night, and that was fantastic. What a good way to start off any readathon. I just feel like it's really nice to start off strong because you feel like you have some momentum. But actually, now that I think about it, the last like 2 times I did that, it didn't actually work. It just made the long things seem even worse. So maybe I should try to stack it so that the long things happen first and then I have shorter things later. Well, that's for next time. Anyway, yeah, I finished my Hercule Poirot mystery and I really liked it. It was really a fun one. I didn't completely solve the mystery. With Agatha Christie's, I think you usually kind of can. And especially once you've read a bunch of them, maybe it's a little bit easier because you kind of know the trends. So I really did almost have this one, and I really liked how it all shaped up. There was like one kind of plot line that I was like kind of like bleh, but then that ended up not being the thing that I thought it was going to be, so that was great. The only thing, and this is something that is present in all of her books, because they were written whenever the heck they were written, is that they are racist. This is something that appears in all old books by white people. So, you know that it's going to happen, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sick of it. Let me check on my tofu really quick because it's making a lot of noise. This was not even the worst offender, as far as the rest of the Poirots go. But it's just worth noting, I guess. Anyway, so I gave that 3 stars, and I moved on to my next read, which is Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. And I absolutely did not remember what the heck the first book was about. And as I was sitting down to read it, I was like, should I be looking this up? Like, should I just read a summary or something? But I didn't. I just went for it, and it was fine because I remembered most things pretty quickly. And I remembered how fun it is and how much I liked the first one. So this is going to be great. I can't wait to keep reading Shorefall. And once I reach the halfway point of that, I'll be doing my next roll. Although I have made some choices in the last couple of hours regarding my library's loans and my Kindle, that might make things a little bit iffy in the future of this readathon, but we don't need to get into that right now. All right, it's Friday evening. I've been reading for a little bit this afternoon. I am now about 45% of the way through Shorefall, and I don't think I ever said what this book is about, so let me tell you. Okay, I can't tell you too much about the plot of Shorefall because it is a sequel, but I'll tell you a bit about the first book, Foundryside, which is a fantasy novel, and it follows Sanchia and some other characters, but primarily it's Sanchia. She is a thief, and it's a heist book, and she has some unusual abilities that make her a particularly good thief, but there's a lot of mystery about like why she has these abilities. And in this world, the magic system is writing based, I suppose. There's like a language of writing that you can do, and you write on metals, and the writing convinces reality to change. So it's a pretty fun magic system to read, I think. There's a lot of puzzles, and there's a lot of things that it like can't quite do, or that it can do, but it's like very tricky, or it's very dangerous. It can easily go wrong. And our characters are constantly making use of not only these magical objects, but also the ways in which they don't always work correctly. So that's very fun. But I really like all of our characters. I like their little world. I'm reading it and I'm pleased. I did have the misfortune of reading a hand mutilation scene earlier today, which was really gross, and I did have to kind of take a break after that, but I'm back now and it's fine, and I'm just gonna keep reading all weekend. I don't think I'm gonna roll at 50%. I think I'll probably roll at like 75%, just because it's kind of a longer book, and if I roll and then have to keep reading this book for like 3 days, even if I know my next book, like I don't think I'll like that. So I think I'm gonna wait until I hit like 70 or 75% to do my roll. And until then, I'm just gonna continue enjoying my sequel. Okay, I am 75% of the way through Shorefall. Oh my god, really good. And that's actually all that I'm gonna say about it. So anyway, it's time to do my next roll. Okay, third roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No! I'll never finish this. Randomized series TBR. Okay. Randomized series TBR. So I put all of the series that I'm currently reading into a little spinner wheel. Here she is. And yeah, I got the Mary Russell series, which is a Sherlock Holmes like spin-off kind of. I am at the 7th one in that series, which is called The Game. And I have no idea what it's about. I don't really remember what most of them were about, to be honest. And I think I mostly read these like years ago, but I do love a Sherlock tale, so I will be reading that next. I did actually get that book off of a hold at my library a couple of days ago, so I was prepared, which is lucky because there are a lot of books on that spinner wheel that I was not prepared for, so we're doing all right. Okay, I finished Shorefall last night. I did love it, and I can't wait for the next book, which comes out this summer, so dang. But yeah, what a success, what a good book. I only had a couple of like things that didn't totally work for me. Like there is a character in the first book who is just like a supporting character and plays a much bigger role in the second book, and I didn't feel like I really got enough background for this character. Like I don't know, I didn't have the same like emotional connection that I have to some of the other main characters, and I wanted it. Like I wanted to be like obsessed with this character, but I just like didn't have anything to be obsessed with. So that was really my only complaint, I think. And so after that, I finished that last night, and then today I read about like 15 pages of The Game, which is the book that I had picked for my third roll, and honestly, no. Like, I haven't read one of those books in like 4 years, I feel like. Maybe not that long, but like I started that series in 2015, I think. So I'm different now, and it just wasn't really like hitting for me. And again, like I barely read it, I know, so I can't pass that much judgment upon this book. But yeah, I just wasn't vibing with the story at all, and I've decided to DNF because I don't want to read it, and so I'm not going to. Wow, how easy. And then I kind of was like, ugh, because I I don't have a ton of series that I'm working on. I think I've said this about 15 times in this video. I kind of don't want to read any of the other series that I have. The only other series that I'm feeling really excited about continuing are The Poppy War and The Live Ship Traders, and I know that both of those next books are going to be huge, and I don't want to read them right now because I just read Live Ship and Shorefall, and I just like want to take a fantasy break really quick. So I kind of thought that I would just roll my next roll and then try to apply that prompt to, instead of my like series that I want to finish, just like all the books that are on my Kindle, because I kind of have a lot right now between ARCs and just like a bunch of other stuff that I got off of holds. I don't know, I have a lot. Yeah, I did my next roll. Okay, let's roll again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yay. Actually, read a standalone. Done and done. Yeah. Actually read a standalone. I can't believe. I'm so pleased. I had a couple of ideas, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be reading Vladimir by, I forget who. But this is kind of a new book. I think it was published in February. And I don't know that much about it. I think it's like academics, romantic betrayal, something, but it's not a romance. I think it's like, I think it's gonna give me The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Gendes. But we'll see. It's the book that my book club picked this month, so I was gonna read it anyway, and now I'm gonna read it right now because I got a Skip the Line loan from my library, thank God. So that's my next read. Oh, and yes, I'm wearing my ruffle shirt from my Sims vlog days. Me and Connor just took a little stroll about the park today, and I was like, let me be cute. But now I'm home and I'm kind of sweaty, so I'm gonna change.
What is all the harness and everything? Wait, come here, come on. Not you, not you. I want to go.
I'm in my car because I was just getting in my car to go on an errand, and I was like, are you vlogging? And the answer is no. I feel like this vlog has had potentially almost no me saying stuff about books content, which is just like a balance that I prefer to strike between like life stuff and book stuff. I don't think I've been striking it, so I'll just tell you right now, I'm going to Staples. I have to print some things for Connor, and then I'm also printing out a new pattern, a sewing pattern. Teehee. I signed up for like a blog newsletter in order to get this free pattern. It's a wrap dress. It's not a true wrap, it just is like a faux wrap kind of neckline, and it has very, very beautiful sleeves. I wanted to get it because I also have this fabric that I got. I'm calling it fabric. It's sheets again. It's sheets. But you know what? When you're trying to like make your own wardrobe on a budget, thrifting sheets is a great way to get a lot of fabric for not a lot of money. So yeah, I have another set of sheets that are like a beautiful yellow and green and flowery sort of situation, and I want them to be like a floaty, poofy dress. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's what I'm going to try to do. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I'm going to Staples to print out the pattern. And if you don't know this about sewing, because you don't sew, when you buy a pattern, you can either, like, you can buy a physical pattern that is like either tissue paper or some kind of paper in the shapes of the pieces of cloth that you have to cut out. But if you don't want to do that, you buy PDF patterns. They're much cheaper. And that's much cheaper because it's such a digital file, and then you take the PDF to wherever, or at your home, you print it out. And it prints out on like 8.5 by 11 printer paper, and then you tape all of those together, and then you can cut out the shapes of the pattern pieces. So it's a huge pain in the butt. Huge. But this pattern was free. So yeah, I'm going to Staples, and I have to print like so many pages. Ugh. Foiled by the dumpster guy once again. But yeah, I'm gonna make a very beautiful dress. And yeah, I read about 25% of Vladimir yesterday. I am having a great time. I was a little bit reluctant because I was like, I feel like this is gonna be very like meta, you know, academics, writing about academics, writing about academics. Like, I don't know. I was worried that it would just come off as obnoxious, but it is, for me, it's coming off it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very funny. I don't know, like the way that I feel reading it is, I think, related to how people who read taboo romance feel about that. Like, I'm reading it and I know that like some of the attitudes, the way that she's talking about feminism and womanhood and like academia and like what's right and wrong in general, and like her attitudes about Vladimir and other characters and situations, I'm like, I know that this is like toxic and it's, you know, offensive and rude, but I am like, I love it. I'm with her. I'm like, yeah, like you're right, but not really, you know, because I can recognize the flaws in the main character, but I think there's an element of only humanness and also comedy. I don't know. It's doing a lot for me, and I think it's like I'm enjoying it because it's kind of messed up, you know? So yeah, this is my taboo romance revelation. I get it. I didn't used to get what y'all were about, but now I do. So thank you. So here are all of the pattern pieces cut out and taped together from yesterday. But yeah, I didn't read a single page. So hopefully today things will be different. All right, she's cut. She's ready for sewing. Not tonight though. Tonight I'm gonna open my book. Carmen has no idea this guy is watching us. Okay, it's Thursday. I don't know who's keeping track of the days. Definitely not. This is not going to be a sewing vlog because I did a lot of sewing last night, and you know what? It did not go well. So you can just forget about whatever you saw, and we're moving on. I have been reading Vladimir. I have been enjoying it, but finding it a little bit difficult to sink into just in the last couple of days. Like I've barely picked it up because I'm just not feeling very mentally capable of being present. So I kind of wish I had something else to read in addition, but I guess I don't. I guess I could find something. Whatever. I think we're gonna see the seals today, so that will hopefully put me in a good mood. And then after that, I still have work to do today, and then I would like to read.
Welcome back to Connor's Corner. We were coming out to La Jolla to check out the seals. The party has started. Look at that. Wow.
You're what?
I said I'm doing your vlog.
Okay, so there were no seals today. I'm sorry. I wanted to get some seal B-roll, but we actually just didn't go over there. My afternoon took a different turn than I was expecting. Not in a bad way. It was just not what I was expecting. So anyway, I'm here now in the evening to do some reading. And I did actually make the 50% mark of Vladimir. So I'm going to do another roll. Let's do the roll. Okay, next roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3-star prediction? Are you kidding me? That's so mean. A 3-star prediction? That's horrible. Like, I don't even know what that could mean. A book that you think is going to be meh, but you're just going to read it to keep moving through the series. I gotta say, that's just so not what I want right now. I have an idea, but let me talk about Vladimir a little bit first. So it's giving me Some Mona Awad, like sometimes it has the bunny-esque thing, and part of that is maybe because it's about writers and academic writing and academics, but something about the writing style is reminding me of Mona Awad, and maybe even is bringing a little bit more All's Well. It doesn't have the like hallucinatory, is that a word? Fever dream quality that those two books have, but the tone is there. Something in the writing, I don't know. And also it's very snarky. It's also very of the times, very, you know, where we are right now, politically, socially, etc. And if I haven't said what it's about yet, let me say what it's about. This woman, our main character is a professor at a college, small college. Her and her husband are both professors there. I think they both work in the English department, but actually he might work in a different department. I can't remember. I think it's English. Anyway, and she also knows this guy, Vladimir. He is a new professor, but he's like tenure tracked, I guess. And she is obsessed with him. And right before the beginning of this book, her husband was forced to take a leave of absence because there were some allegations of, I think, statutory rape and or like inappropriate conduct with a student. So a bunch of students came forward to say, you know, he sexually assaulted or abused us, and she is like navigating that with like her husband and also her own infidelity and also her obsession with Vladimir. So it's, you know, it's like that, but I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I did make it to the halfway point. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do for this 3-star prediction, I'm not going to read a book from a series because I don't have a series that I want to continue that I'm predicting 3 stars. I mean, honestly, the next Poirot might be 3 stars, but I don't want to read that. And so I'm going to be going off the rails and just reading another standalone. So I'm sorry. But I'm going to read Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. And this is a romance. It's about a woman and a non-binary person, and they're both competing on a cooking show, which sounds fantastic. First of all, to have a non-binary character in a romance. So intrigued to read that kind of story and just like excited that we're seeing some of that. And I know that this book, I think it was a book of the month pick, so it's potentially gonna get some hype and or like a bunch of people are gonna read it. And also it's a cooking show, so like I love that. Love a food book, but I am unfortunately predicting that I will give it 3 stars because romance is not like a huge fave for me as a genre. I have given out some 4 and 5 stars, I think, but for the most part I don't love it. It's just like there's a lot of things that can easily go wrong for me in a romance novel. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that it could only get 3 stars just because of the genre and my just general reading tastes. But I did really want to read it, and I did have this hold for a while, so I finally got it and I'm excited to have it and I want to read it, so I will be reading it. And I kind of do think that I could finish that and Vladimir by the end of this. Is that crazy? What is that ear doing? Carmen, oh my gosh. What are you listening to? Hi. Okay, I finished Vladimir and I actually really liked it, but I can see why it's getting mixed reviews, and I think it's gonna continue to get really mixed reviews. I think that this book is good. I think that Julia May Jonas is talented. The way that this story was woven and the kind of things that it asks you about, I mean, like age, not it doesn't ask really questions about age, but it does have a lot of discussion about like aging and youth and like the value of that youth and like beauty and stuff, but also about consent and power dynamics and victimhood and that kind of thing. It definitely does ask some things, and it's, I think, a very interesting perspective to be reading from, only because I think that it was done very well and with a certain amount of self-awareness. But yeah, I do think that the way that this book is perceived by like the overall booktube community is probably not going to be good. I think it might be a little bit of what happened with A Little Life, where a book becomes extremely popular and the reactions are extremely polarizing. Like, there are some people who love the book and are like obsessed with it, and then there are other people who are like, what is wrong with you? I don't get this. Like, why would you want to read that? Like, why would you write something like this? Hate. Yeah, that's, I guess, what polarizing means. I think this is going to be a really polarizing book. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I am hoping to have a good discussion with my book club about it. I think we'll definitely have something to talk about. Yeah, and I'm off to read Love and Other Disasters, which is my queer cooking show romance that I do kind of think is going to be 3 stars. I'm also kind of wondering if I can count it as a pink cover, because that's one of my TikTok TBR prompts, and I'd really like for it to count as a pink cover, but I just don't really know if that's pink, so I'll have to think about that. I was so wrong. I am so sorry to Anita Kelly for thinking that this book would be 3 stars. I'm so sorry. I am almost halfway done with this book already, which I mean, romances read really fast, and I am so into this one. Like, our main characters are London and Dahlia, and both of them are like kind of awkward in their own way, but not in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Sometimes you're reading a book, especially in romance, and like one of the characters is supremely awkward and it is so uncomfortable. This is not like that. They're both just like a little bit weird, and it's not horrible. It's amazing because it's so sweet, like so wholesome and sweet and lovely and soft. They're competing on a cooking show, which, I mean, there's not nearly enough food stuff in this. I mean, it's not about the food, it's about these two people coming together, of course, but I wanted it to be more about the food. But it is better than the other cooking competition romance I read, which was Recipe for Persuasion. But still, it's not nearly foodie enough for me, but that's fine. The characters are so sweet, and the dual perspective is really working very well. And I'm just like, I'm rooting for them so hard. I love them both so much, and I'm really dreading whatever big issue is going to happen, like whatever the conflict is going to be. I don't want it. I just want them to be on their little cooking show, and then like they both move to Nashville together or something, you know? Another thing is that obviously it's very cool to be reading a romance with a non-binary character, and especially in that, like, yes, there have been instances of transphobia from sources. I don't want to give anything away at all. Not a spoiler, but there is one interaction where another contestant is talking to Dahlia about London and misgenders them, and in the text of the novel, it says, like, you know, so-and-so said, I don't know what they told you, but she didn't say they. Like, even though this character is misgendering London, the novel is not. You know what I mean? I don't know if I explained that very clearly, but I just felt like that was excellent. I think it's kind of common for people who have a very narrow view of transness to get caught up in not really accepting non-binary as meaning non-binary. Like, when they hear somebody is non-binary, they immediately want to know whether or not that person was assigned male or female at birth. So I really appreciate that in this book, the author does not give you a chance to do that. Like, even when London has been misgendered, you don't know whether they were misgendered as male or female. And I think that is excellent, because that's a habit, a trend, that binary people need to stay away from. Stop doing that. That's transphobic. Stop it. Anyway, I can't wait to get back to it. I'm so happy. I hope that the big conflict isn't too bad. I hope. Okay, I have to go. Okay, so I did my next roll last night because I flew through my 3-star prediction. Here's the roll. '21 or 22 release. So I could read, I did look at my series in regards to this prompt, because this is a series readathon, even though I have not been fully respecting that. And I definitely could read Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and that's another romance. I could probably finish it this weekend. The last one, I should just read it and be done with it, but I just haven't. But yeah, I knew going into this that I only had so many series to choose from, and frankly, none of them are things I'm feeling pressed about or interested in right now. I'm gonna read another standalone. I'm really sorry to the Squash That Series team for disregarding the point of this, which is to complete some series, but you know what, I'm having a good time, and it is what it is. So I'm gonna, I think, actually start Portrait of a Thief by Grace Lee. This book comes out, I think, early on in April, but I got an ARC of it from NetGalley, and I can't believe it. I'm very shocked, because this is kind of a hyped thriller or like heist book. I don't know, I saw people being kind of excited about it online. I was like, yeah, me too. And then I actually got a proof for it on NetGalley. I couldn't believe it. So I'm gonna be starting that. I don't know that I'll finish it before this vlog is over, but that's what I'm gonna be doing. It is being described as, I think, Ocean's 11 meets Crazy Rich Asians. And I finished Love and Other Disasters. I finished it this morning. I almost finished it last night, but I just had like 2 more chapters to read today, and I read them, and I really loved it. I'm sorry for predicting that I was going to feel lukewarm about this book, because I really loved it. It was a little bit steamy. It was really fun and soft and sweet. Like the characters, I don't know, neither of them were unreasonable to me. Like, neither of their personalities felt like ridiculous. Like, sometimes these love interests go a little hard and they're like outrageous, but these 2 people were just like 2 people, and I loved the dual perspective. You were really getting both sides of the situation, and 'twas lovely. Oh, but I also felt like the sort of resolution, the way everything ended up, was really nice. Like, romance, you're gonna get your happily ever after, but sometimes it feels a little bit too good to be true, and that's probably part of the appeal, right? Is that it's like, wow, and everything actually worked out. But in this, it felt a little bit more realistic to me, and I just appreciated that. So I think this was a good romance for people who are maybe not always romance people, but probably people who are romance people also would like it. Whatever that means. So yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start a new book, I guess. What a treat that was. Okay, that brings us to the end of this vlog. I'm sorry for teasing a little bit about Portrait of a Thief, but because I simply did not read very much of it within the parameters of the readathon, I'm just not going to say anything else. And if you want to hear my thoughts about it, I don't know, add me on Goodreads. I'll write a review there probably. And that's it. So thank you again to Kayla and Bailey for hosting this readathon. I know I didn't super play by the rules, and at the end of the day, I'm really just not a series gal. So was this the readathon for me? No. But did I just want to hang out and have fun with my friends? Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm happy to have participated, and I'm also happy to be done. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching and sticking around, and every like, comment, and subscribe means a lot to me, so thank you so much in advance. And yeah, sorry we got into some like heavy topics here, but that's just how the books go, you know? Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.